I'm just getting a note here from our producer, Candace Quo. The family is now clapping in the courtroom. As a reminder, there is his mother, 6 of his children in the courtroom, and Combs, he is now praying on his knees. This is an incredibly emotional moment. And as a reminder, there are no cameras in the courtroom. There will be court sketches. His children were very emotional this morning. I actually walked up inside the courthouse with them, up in the elevators, and his daughters were wearing all black. And I actually spoke to one of the mothers of one of his daughters, Chance. I won't tell you what she said, but I can tell you that it was very emotional. Again, although convicted on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, it is a massive win for Combs' legal team and a huge blow for New York prosecutors that said that Combs ran a criminal enterprise. Also, Laura, those co-conspirators, none of them testifying. Christina Coram, heads of security like D-Rock. We heard about all these different names of these individuals that supposedly ran this criminal organization, but none of them appeared to have been given immunity. We don't know that for sure, but none of them testified during this trial. And there were thoughts that perhaps, if convicted on racketeering, that prosecutors were going to go after said enterprise. But again, I just want to reiterate that Combs' family clapping moments ago and Combs praying on his knees. Laura?
Chloe, since you followed this so closely and you were in the courtrooms for so many weeks covering this, can you just remind our viewers about the defense team's strategy here? Because I know you and I talked at various points about whether it was going to backfire. And you look at that screen and you see all those not guilty verdicts, all those acquittals on some of the most serious charges of using force and using coercion. And they heard so much evidence about all of the drugs and all of the threats and Combs telling that these women, I'm going to release these tapes if you don't do what I want. And yet the jury did not think it enough. What was the theory, Chloe, that the defense used in terms of why he should be acquitted here? Because I remember in closing arguments, they were saying things like this was a modern day love story. And we wondered if that was going to backfire.
Sure. I mean, look, that is certainly a point that myself and others, they lost us there, because no great modern love story consists of repeated domestic violence, okay? And Combs' team owned up to the fact that he is a bad guy. He is an abuser of women. He is a drug addict. This is not vindication that Combs has led a straight and narrow life. What this is Combs' team has been nicknamed the Dream Team. There are 8 attorneys. This is a multi-million-dollar defense team. You have Mark Agnifilo, Combs' lead attorney, who is also representing Luigi Mangione. You have Tenny Garagos, the daughter of celebrity attorney Mark Garagos. You also have Brian Steele, who joined late in the game out of Atlanta, Georgia, who just recently had a big win representing Young Thug in his RICO case down there in Georgia. And you got to understand that there are 8 attorneys there, right? For viewers at home, that if Combs wanted to testify in his own defense, that if they wanted to call any witnesses for the money that he was paying, I watched him pass notes for the entire 2 months. He was very involved in his defense. We know that his attorneys, many of them visiting him every single day in the 9 months leading up to this trial at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, that this was a strategy to try to show a united force, that prosecutors did not meet their burden of proof. NBC's Danny Ceballos has said multiple times on our air that if they don't feel as though the prosecutors proved their case, why put on a defense? This is a common strategy for defense attorneys. It's also common to not put your client on the stand and potentially incriminate themselves. And so what you're seeing is that these were attorneys that were confident. And we are looking right now at the courthouse right now, hoping that perhaps the family or even some of the attorneys are going to come out. More likely, Laura, the family will be coming out, because those lawyers for Combs, they have a letter that is due in about 2 hours to the judge explaining why Combs should be released. They have said that they will put up a $1 million bond. They have said, take his plane. We don't have his plane. We've already put his houses up, his mansion in Star Island. We've put that up for collateral. That this is low-hanging fruit, transportation to engage in prostitution. Still illegal, a 10-year mandatory maximum prison sentence. But again, unlikely that he would serve that full amount of time. I mean, again, there were also, assumptions that perhaps Combs was going to go to President Donald Trump for a pardon if he was convicted across the board here. And you even heard President Trump speaking at one point that he was open to looking at the facts, but that he didn't know enough. We don't know what sort of options that this team is weighing, but we know that this legal team, and I can tell you firsthand, they have been buttoned up. They are very reticent to speak to the media. That is the last thing on their minds right now. They have been very, very focused on trying to get Combs out of prison and to find him some sort of vindication. And today, again, I can't say it enough, after sitting in that trial, Laura, for nearly 2 months, a massive blow to Cassie Ventura, to Jane, to the employees who testified, to Mia, one of his former assistants who testified under a pseudonym, and to those prosecutors who told those jurors multiple times that Combs is a criminal, that he should be behind bars for the rest of his life because he was running a criminal enterprise. But that was not proven today.
Chloe, stand by. We're going to come back to you soon.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.